were loaded onto a train and carted, I think it was about 10 hours to Māori camp. On the way, we were told not to buy anything, but somebody had to buy a bottle of whiskey. It looked, Johnny Walker whiskey, it looked perfect, and he bought it. So they opened it, and it was dirty water. When we looked at it, there was a small hole in the bottom of it, and they drained the whiskey out and put dirty water into it. So it was a good lesson to learn earlier in Egypt, because there's a lot of roguery and so forth. So we went to Egypt, and we did training there with Sherman tanks, the first time I'd seen Sherman tanks and so forth. And in the summertime, when it was what they call the summertime program, you get up at 5 in the morning, and you went out in the desert, and you went over all sorts of obstacle courses and so forth, and driving and this sort of thing, and then you come back in by about 8 o'clock, and you had to clean all the oil filters out, which had about 2 inches of sand in the bottom of them, and then you had breakfast, and then the time you could do what you like. You go to Cairo, there's trucks running in all the time, and the last truck came back at midnight, so you had a good time there as far as we were concerned. The only thing you weren't allowed to do was lie in your bed, because the heat made you very, well, you just came insipid sort of with it. So if you were caught lying on your bed, they gave you something to do. They made you do something, but other than that, of course, I had my brother, Tom, in Māori camp. He was a provo corporal on the gate of Māori camp, so we had a good time in Cairo. Tom and I could get out and stay there till midnight. Went to Masonic Lodge there. There was also the New Zealand Club there. There's always things to do. There's always funny little incidents. The British used to send saluting things. You had to salute an officer, and they used to send 2 military policemen and an officer, then 2 military policemen behind. And if you didn't salute, they grabbed you, and you were charged. So as soon as you saw this happening, as you get about half a dozen jokers and spread them out by 5 places apart. So he had to keep saluting all the time, you see. But shoot round the block and come back and meet him again. And we just drive them off the streets. They were mad. They were just going like this all the time. And of course, and you could have a lot of fun you created yourself. And you used to pinch fruit and oranges from the wheelbarrow boys, fill up the front of your battle dress, and somebody come tearing around to, "Hey, stop that!" And of course, the other jack at the other end would start filling his up. But they did well. Then the Blackwood boys, they used to come off you to clean your shoes or boots, you see. And if you said no, they threw dirt all over them. You had to. So we'd let them clean, and then kick the stuff away, everywhere in all directions. So and then pick up that rather than chase you. A lot of stupid things. And then they had a place called the Pam Pam. I used to go there. It was a dance hall, and everybody used to go there just to see. All of a sudden there'd be a fight started. They had girls there to dance with, you see. I never got further than at the top of the stairs, I don't think. Somebody would throw a bottle, and these big mirrors they had behind bars, that would get smashed. And you get down onto the street before the provo arrived, because everybody who caught on the Pam Pam was arrested. So it was just made life exciting. So.
And Mary, were there some interesting things that happened just prior to John's departure that delayed his departure time somewhat?
Yes, well, John he went on 3 different final leaves, and each time we thought expecting him to go away, and then he'd go back, and directly was unfit. And eventually, you can mention about that. Eventually,
I went back to Waikato in the 3rd one, and I was called up to the order room, and I thought, here we go again. But this individual, not Tishman, who had a big caravan there. And anyhow, he tapped me down, he looked at my eyes and tested my eyes and so on. He said, what a bloody lot of rot. And he had a sheet of paper about this high. I was supposed to have an alternating squint in one of my eyes. And this kept me in New Zealand
all those years.
For 3 years. So it might have saved my life, I don't know. But that's all that stopped me. So, but I never knew what it was. I even went to my own doctor to find out what was the matter with me. He said, just kind yourself, like you're not going. So that's the only thing that stopped me. So that's held me up for 3 years.
And at some stage during the war, John, were you actually driving the tanks too?
Yes. You start off on a tank. There's 5 in a tank. There's 3 in the turret, and a driver and a spare driver. Now, the spare driver is there in case something happens to the other one, just because if you become immobile, you're a sitting duck. So you start off as a spare driver, and you've got a .3 lab gun on a ball joint. And the first time I went into action, I had to shoot up all the haystacks as we advanced, because the Germans hid anti-tank guns in the haystacks, you see, 88mm guns, and they just put you out of action straight away. But you never know where, going across open country, the tank goes like this, up one side, down the other side, up in the front, down, and I never hit a haystack. Honestly, you can tell where your bullets are going because every 5th one's a tracer. And you're looking through a periscope, and you've got this lab gun, and you line everything up, press the triggers, and the tank goes, and it goes up there, and you fire. Next one, it goes down this way. So yeah, it's just amazing. It drops this side, so one way or the other. And I got told up for not hitting haystacks. But and then when you start off there, but the very first thing when you went up to the line, you went into spare crews. And I was in spare crews, and you just carted around with the luggage and so forth. And I replaced a chap where they come to a big minefield, a chap by the name of Bartram, and he used to use a walking stick just as a bit of show. And he got tired of waiting for them to lift mines, so he started to lift mines himself. And he flicked one out with his walking stick, and it was tied down with a booby trap. We found his leg. That's all we found of him. So he was on top of an anti-tank mine when it went off. So I replaced him, and I started off as a spare driver. And then gradually, so I was a spare driver for quite a while. And then finally I replaced somebody. I don't think it was a casualty. He was transferred somewhere else. I think he was 5th reinforcement. And they like to, the older soldiers, they like to get what they call B echelon onto duties which not in the front line as much. Carton ammunition, this sort of thing. So I replaced him and was a driver for quite a while. So, no, yeah, but it was safer than being in the infantry. You had no worry about mines if you were in the tank, although it did bruise you up to the knees if you ran over a mine, and you had 26 gallons of oil under your feet, so it came up through the oil and onto your feet, and it really bruised you right up to the knees, and you had trouble walking. So, but no, it was. Then I transferred for a while into an assault squadron, and driving armoured bulldozers and carrying scissor bridges and this sort of thing, and I did that for a while, and then I got a job driving an artillery officer up when the final breakthrough going up to Trieste, and we got priority in all the ferries because all the bridges were gone, and anyhow, it was anybody on the ferry and we came along, they had to back up and let us on. We had to go and inspect bridges, and it was quite frightening because you'd be on your own, you're sailing up a road, one of these big autostradas for miles, and you want to know who's at the end of the damn thing, because if they fired down and they didn't, you just had it. But I know one place we spotted what we thought was fortifications, a big concrete outfit, and we were watching through field glasses, and then thought, gee, is this fortification or what's going to happen? You see, so Anyhow, we kept on going, and we found out it was a memorial to the First World War soldiers. 100,000 Italians were buried there. And it was quite a big place. And the only sort of thing there was they'd left a railway gun there, a big 6.6, I think, railway gun on. And it was in good condition. But that was, I can't really remember the name of the place now, but it was all round Trieste had been fought for in the First World War. There were still trenches and so forth and dugouts from the First War around just south of Trieste.